good morning, everyone. Before we begin, I want to thank you for being here. Life moves fast. We spend so much time chasing perfection that we often forget to appreciate what is already in front of us. Today, I want to talk about something simple, something real, something many people overlook. The title of this speech is, "She's what I need, she's not perfect, but she's mine." We live in a world that constantly tells us to look for better, newer, and more perfect. But love doesn't grow because someone is perfect. Love grows because two imperfect people choose each other, day after day, through mistakes, challenges, and ordinary moments. I've learned that the strongest relationships aren't built on perfection. They're built on loyalty, understanding, patience, and gratitude. They're built on seeing someone's flaws and still choosing to stay. As we go through this journey together, I invite you to think about the people who have stood beside you when life wasn't easy. Think about, the person who may not be perfect, but somehow makes your life feel complete. And before we continue, if you'd like access to my personal videos, exclusive content, and some of the lessons and insights I don't share publicly, I invite you to join the membership and become part of this growing community. Now, let's talk about what it really means to love someone not because they're perfect, but because they're exactly what you need. When we're young, many of us imagine that love will arrive in a perfect form. We picture meeting someone who always says the right things, never disappoints us, never makes mistakes, and somehow fits every expectation we've ever created in our minds. We build these images from movies, stories, social media, and sometimes from our own hopes. We begin to believe that if we search long enough, we'll eventually find a person who checks every box. But life has a way of teaching lessons that dreams cannot. The longer you live, the more you realize that perfection is not something you find in another person. In fact, perfection doesn't exist at all. Every human being carries flaws, fears, insecurities, wounds, and imperfections. Every person has moments when they get things wrong. Every person struggles with something they wish they could change. The question isn't whether someone is perfect. The question is whether their imperfections are something you can understand, accept, and embrace. Real love begins when fantasy ends. It begins when you stop looking at someone for who you wish they were and start seeing them for who they actually are. Maybe she gets emotional over things that seem small. Maybe she worries too much. Maybe she leaves things unfinished. Maybe she doesn't always know the right words to say. Maybe she has bad habits that make you shake your head. Maybe she has scars from battles she fought long before you met her. And maybe none of those things matter as much as people think they do. Because when you truly care about, you tease someone, you stop measuring them against an impossible standard. You start paying attention to different things. You notice how she remembers details that everyone else forgets. You notice how she checks on you when the world becomes heavy. You notice how she stands beside you during difficult days. You notice how her presence can bring peace to a room without